Morning chat. No video yesterday. Got home very late and um, decided not to do a video. But we're gonna get one. We're gonna get two done today. One in the morning, one later in the day. So let's get right into it. Self-confidence formula. Number 1. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my defined purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to take such action. Number 2. I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. I knew through the principle of autosuggestion that any desire I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding myself the development of self-confidence. I have clearly written down a description of my defined chief aim in life. I will never stop trying until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. I fully realize that no wealth or position can longer endure endless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction that does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and criticism by developing long love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit to it from memory, and repeat it out loud once a day, with full faith that I will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and unsuccessful person. Underpinning this formula is a law of nature that no one has yet been able to explain. It has baffled the scientists of all ages. Psychologists have named this law a law autosuggestion and let it go at that. The name by which one calls this law of little importance. The important fact about it is it works for the glory and success of humankind. If it is used constructively, if used destructively, on the other hand, it will destroy just as readily. In this statement may be found a sufficient truth. Those who go down in defeat and end their lives in poverty, misery, and distress do so because of negative application of the principle of autosuggestion. The cause may be found in the fact that all impulse of thoughts have a tendency to clothe themselves in either physical equivalent. The subconscious mind, the chemical laboratory in which all thoughts impulse are combined and made ready for transaction into physical reality, makes no distinction between destructive and destructive thought impulses. It works with the material we feed it through our thought impulses. The subconscious mind will translate into reality a thought driven by fear, just as readily as it will translate into reality a thought driven by courage or faith. The pages of medical history are rich with illustrations of cases of subjective suicide. A person may commit suicide through negative suggestion just as effectively as by any other means. In a Midwestern city, a bank official named Joseph Grant borrowed a large sum of the bank's money without the consent of the directors. He lost the money through gambling. One afternoon, the bank examiner came and began to check the accounts. Grant left the bank and took a room in a local hotel. When they found him 3 days later, he was lying in bed, wailing and moaning repeatedly over and over these words: "My God, this will kill me. I cannot stand the disgrace." In a short time, he was dead. The doctors pronounced the case one of mental suicide. Just as electricity will turn the wheels of industry and provide useful service if used constructively, a snuff out life if wrongly used, so will this law of autosuggestion lead you to peace and prosperity or down into the valley of misery, failure, and death. It all depends on your degree of understanding and application of it. If you fill your mind with fear, 1 second, Mom, of doubt and disbelief, an ability to connect with and use the forces of infinite intelligence, the law of autosuggestion will take this spirit of unbelief and use it as a pattern with yours, which your subconscious mind will translate into its physical equivalent. This statement is as true as the statement that 2 and 2 are 4. Like the wind that carries one ship east and another west, the law of autosuggestion will lift you up or pull you down according to the way you set your sails of thought. The autosuggestion through which any person may rise to altitudes of achievement that stagger the imagination is well described in the following verse. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you ever win a prize. Life battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late the one who wins is the one who thinks he can. Observe the words which have been emphasized, and you will catch the deep meaning the poet had in mind. Somewhere in your makeup, perhaps in the cells of your brain, lies sleeping the seed of achievement. If aroused and put into action, this would carry you to heights such as you may never have hoped to attain. Just as a master musician may cause the most beautiful strains of music to pour forth from the strings of a violin, so may you arouse the genius which lies asleep in your mind and cause it to drive you upward to whatever goal you may wish to achieve. Abraham Lincoln was a failure at everything he tried until he was well past the age of 40. He was a Mr. Nobody from nowhere until a great experience came into his life, aroused the sleeping genius with his heart and brain, and gave the world one of its really great men. That experience has mixed with the emotions of sorrow and love. It came to him through the Annie Rutledge, the only woman he ever really loved. It is a known fact that emotion of love is closely akin to the kind of mind known as faith. Love comes very near to translating one's thought impulse into their spiritual equivalent. During his research, the author described from the analysis of the work and achievements of hundreds of men of understanding accomplishment, that there was the influence of a woman's love behind nearly every one of them. The emotion of love in the human heart and brain creates a favorable field of magnet attraction. This causes an influence of the higher and finer vibrations that are afloat in the ether. Let us consider the power of faith as it was demonstrated by the man a man well known to all of civilization, Mahatma Gandhi of India. In this man, the world experienced one of the most astonishing examples of the possibilities of faith. Gandhi wielded more potential power than any man living in this time. And this despite the fact that he had none of the orthodox tools of power, such as money, battleships, soldiers, and materials of warfare. Gandhi had no money, he had no home, he didn't even own a suit of clothes when he did have power. How did he come by that power? He created it out of his understanding of the principle of faith, and through this ability to transplant that faith into the minds of 200 million people. Gandhi accomplished through the influence in faith something that the strongest military power on earth could not and never will. Achieved through soldiers and military equipment, he accomplished the astounding feat of influencing 200 million minds to coalesce and move into unison as a single mind, while other force on earth except faith could do as much. In the mid-20th century, Martin Luther King, through his deep faith and his belief in human rights and dignity for all people, led men and women of all races, religions, and beliefs to join in his struggle for civil rights. His dream that people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character has not been fully realized, but his work and his death had led to significant improvements in civil rights and an impetus to keep fighting for their achievement. The watchword for the future will be human happiness and contentment when this state of mind has been attained. The production will take care of itself effectively than anything ever accomplished, where people did not and could not mix faith and individual interests with their labor. Because of the need for faith and cooperation in business and industry, it will be both interesting and profitable to analyze a particular event. This provides an excellent understanding of the method by which industrialists and leaders of business accumulate great fortunes by giving before they try to get. The event chosen for this illustration dates back to 1900, when the United States Steel Corporation was being formed. As you read the story, keep in mind these fundamental facts, and you will understand how ideas have been converted into huge fortunes. First, the huge United States Steel Corporation was born in the minds of Charles M. Schwab in the form of an idea he created through his imagination. Second, he mixed faith with his idea. Third, he formulated a plan for the transformation of his idea into physical and financial reality. Fourth, he put his plan into action with his famous speech at the University Club. Fifth, he applied and followed through on his plan with persistence and backed it with firm decision until it had been fully carried out. Sixth, he prepared the way for success by a burning desire for success. If you have often wondered how great fortunes are accumulated, this story of the creation of United States Steel Corporation will be enlightening. If you ever have any doubt that people can think and grow rich, the story should dispel that doubt, because in it you can plainly see the application of a major portion of the 13 principles described in this book. John Lowell in the New York World Telegram, with those courtesy, it is here reprinted dramatically told his astounding story of the power of an idea. I'll take a pause there. One thing that really kind of stood out to me was the sixth lesson for this United States Steel Corporation, which was 6. He prepared the way for success by a burning desire for success. And there's 2 things I want to talk about, but this is the first one. It's really interesting to understand that sometimes to be prepared or to be in preparation for something, it's not the necessary tools, and in some cases that is very necessary. But what I grasp from that sixth lesson is that to be prepared, to be fully even engaged at the very beginning, is to have that desire for what you want to obtain. Now, I'm going to take in the context of the work I've been doing. Let's say, it's the baseboard. You have no baseboard, but you have burning desire to go out there, and let's say you have to walk 10 miles. Let's say you have to go out there and find scraps to make that baseboard for your room or whatever you're remodeling. You have to have that burning desire. Then you can get the baseboard. Then you can get your tools. Then everything kind of falls into play. But if you don't have that burning desire, everything will be procrastinated. Now, their studies show that procrastination is good, but in the form of what I'm trying to say is that you're just continuously saying, oh, tomorrow. I'll get the baseboard tomorrow. Or, it's not that big of a deal right now. I can get it later. No, but it's that burning desire to say, hey, I want to go there and obtain it, and I want to make this baseboard fantastic. Now, that might be a very bad example of what I'm trying to say, but I feel like you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. The second was faith. I think I'm starting to grasp from this book that it's pulling a lot of examples from already successful people and using their success into what this book is trying to teach with faith, with courage, with burning desire, and whatnot. Then one of them that was being said was faith. Having that faith that, you know, things will turn out for the better. If you believe, it will turn out for the better. Don't just think it will happen. Believe in it, act on it, and then go out there and achieve with great results and with great compassion and whatnot. But on enough today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I mean, later today. But yeah, peace.